here, and today we're gonna break down the fight card of Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. Before I do that, though, I want to teach you a lesson that I've studied with pain, with anger last week, and maybe I can help you to not make the same mistake. My mistake was greed and laziness, and I'll explain. I want you to look at these three bets that I've made, okay? I could have made really nice profit last week if I have been less greedy and less lazy. Why was I greedy? Because I hedged these two bets 17 times $10 and 2.5 times 25 by Charles by submission instead of taking him money line. This was my greed. If I would have taken him money line here, I would have made profit. Nice profit last week. The laziness is I haven't watched enough film about Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway. I went with the herd that just said Holloway will win, he's the better boxer, and I disregarded the fact that Holloway never faced someone who has not only the wrestling capabilities of Charles Oliveira, but the back taking and the submission and the control. And that's what gave him the win, because whenever Charles took him down, he controlled him the entire round. And I had so many good spots, like Soma Durji. I knew he's going to win by decision. Like Alberto Montez. I had so many good spots, and I ruined everything because I was a greedy fuck and I was lazy. But I'm going to work on that, and I'm not going to let the demon of lazy betting to get into any of my upcoming events, okay? So that's for that. Now, let's go over the upcoming UFC card. I've done a lot of research. There's some spots I really like, and I'm gonna give you my bets for every specific fight. The first fight is a fight between two women, Sam Hughes and Piera Rodriguez. Honestly, I think the value is on Sam Hughes. She's improved way more in comparison to what I think Piera did. She was more active, and honestly, I do think that it's gonna be a close fight. This might go to a split decision. If I would have made any bet here, I would do the over. The path to victory for Piera Rodriguez would be just to spam the takedowns and control Sam Hughes, but she really improved her takedown defense, her get-up game. We saw that when she fought, what was her name? The Russian girl, Gazd, later on. But she got a win against Jacqueline Amorim, which is a good win. She got Victoria Dudakova, which I think she won unanimous, but she used the wrestling. Now, Piera Rodriguez, she's good. She got a good win against Josephine Knudsen and Ketlin Souza. But honestly, I think that this is going to be an over 2.5 for me if I would have made any bet. But I can see a path for victory for Sam Hughes, so I do think the value is on her. But I'm not planning to bet on this fight for now. The next fight is a fight I do want to bet on. It's Elijah Smith versus Su Yang Yu. So listen, Elijah Smith has shown us that he's the real deal, in my opinion, at least for the level he's in at right now. The guy is very young, 23 years old, and he has shown great wrestling capabilities, good submission defense. He got great hands. He's big for the division. He's way taller and has the longer reach compared to his opponent from Korea. And I see him winning here. I don't see this fight. I don't see any path to victory for So Young Yu. I think that Elijah Smith can keep this fight on the feet. I think that he's going to win the wrestling exchanges. And I think he's going to be the better striker. I know that Yu is good. He got a win against Long Shao, AJ Cunningham. But I just think that the level of Elijah Smith, at least when it comes to his ability to strike, is way higher. He had a close fight with Long Zhao. He did win that fight. But if you compare him to Elijah Smith, I think that Elijah Smith will be able to have more success compared to Long Zhao when it comes to defending takedowns and when it comes to being able to win the exchanges on the feet. So Young Yu, though, he's good, right? He didn't even take down Zhao Long, and he managed to win the striking exchanges. But again, he got outstriked by Zhao Long, so you're saying, okay, how does that make sense? But he had the moments. He won the moments, right? I don't think he's going to win the moments against So Young Yu. Next fight, we have... Sorry, against Elijah Smith. Next fight, we got Bia Mesquita against Montserrat Rendon. Honestly, I think that Montserrat Rendon is not UFC level. I was very, very disappointed by her performances so far. She went to a split decision with Tamiris Vidal. She lost to Daria Zelnikova. She couldn't take her down. She got a split decision with Alice Pereira, who's made almost any mistake possible on that fight with her. Bia Mesquita, she's on a different level. I see her just taking down Montserrat and dominating her on the ground. Most likely, I see her winning by finish. I'll say she gets a knockout here, in my opinion, like ground and pound. But she can definitely get a submission as well. So give me Bia Mesquita to get the job done in this one. Next fight, we got Hatcher Souza and Luan Lacerda. I've done a lot of tape study on this one. Luan Lacerda has shown to be lacking on the feet. He got good kicks and all, but I don't think he wants to keep this fight standing with a guy like Souza. He's the way better striker, way more. He's elite if you at least compare him to Lacerda in terms of his striking, knees up the middle, good head movement, uppercuts. He's very well rounded. I was very impressed by the tape study I've seen from Hatcher Souza. He won dominantly against Maxine Lee, and he had some moments where he was caught in a guillotine, but he stayed calm. He knew what he was doing, and I really liked watching his calmness, because with a guy like Luan Lacerda, if you get into any grappling exchange, which I hope he wouldn't, because he got the takedown defense to keep this fight standing, and he definitely got the better striking. So as long as he keeps this fight standing, I can't see him losing. Can Luan Lacerda submit him? Of course, that's always a possibility. This is MMA, but I don't see it happening. I think that even if they get to some kind of entanglement, I was very impressed by how physical Souza is for bantamweight, and I think he's going to keep this fight standing. He knows where Lacerda is dangerous, and he's going to knock him out. I think second round TKO. That's a real possibility in this one. So give me Souza to get the job done. Next fight, another fight I've made shitload of tape study, and I'll give you a bold prediction here. I'm picking Manuel Souza to win by submission by a Kimura, probably round 2. The guy Manuel Souza, for those of you who don't know, he's doing his UFC debut, but I'm telling you this right now, this guy is gonna be at the top 15 for sure. He's gonna reach the top 15 and potentially the top 10 and top 5. We're talking about a young guy coming from Brazil, and he's not coming from any part of Brazil. He's coming from the dangerous part of Brazil, the same place very close to where Brito is. The guy is a specimen. He's a physical specimen. He's gonna be way stronger than Bolaji. Whether they gonna strike or grapple, well, I think that Souza understand that Bolaji is not good when it comes to his jiu-jitsu, and I think he's gonna take advantage of that. In many of his fights, many of the tape studies I've seen, he tends to push people against the cage and take them down. And I see him doing it to Oki. I can see him easily getting Oki down if he wants to. But he got so much power that he might just decide to exchange on the feet and knock him out, like Oki out. This guy is a problem. Like he got a knockout win against Mauricio Rufy. That just tells you how good this guy is. Go and watch that fight. The guy is very dangerous. I like him to win by finish. I say he's gonna get that Kimura that Mason Jones couldn't get in the first round. I say that Souza will manage to get it probably in the second, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it in the first. So give me Souza to win. Very high confidence. I think he's gonna break him, and I can't wait to see the matchups that this guy is gonna have in his future. Next fight, we got Mick Tickbeck, Oral By, and Chris Curtis. So when I saw Mick Tick going up to welterweight, I was surprised because it looks like he wasn't that physical. He wasn't that big in lightweight. But that's his decision. So let's see how he's gonna look now when he's transitioned to 170. Honestly, if Curtis was younger, I would have picked him. But he's at the tail end of his career. He got a split decision against Max Griffin. He got knocked out by Kopylov. And I do think this is going to be a tough fight for Mick Tickbeck, but he has more ways to win. I think he's going to have more volume. I think he's going to be able to get some takedowns, although Curtis has shown that he got good get-up game and takedown defense, so I don't think he's going to be able to submit Curtis or something like that or get any ground and pound going, but I can see him winning the minutes, right? So there's just getting a takedown right before the round ends and just having better look for the judges. I don't think he's gonna finish Chris. Curtis has a good chin, although he got knocked out by Kopylov, but Kopylov has real power, and it wasn't like it was a TKO. He didn't send him to sleep or anything. So give me Mick Tickbeck to get the job done. I'm saying he wins by decision. Yeah. Next fight, we got Brett Tavares and Eric Anders. Honestly, this is a fight, again, I'm not interested in betting in any way, shape, or form. I think that both of them are at the tail. I don't think both of them are at the tail end of their career. When you look at their resume, I'm not that impressed. I'll say that if this fight stays on the feet, Anders has, and it's probably going to stay on the feet because Brett Tavares has really good takedown defense. I think Anders can get a knockout, but I won't be surprised if we see Tavares winning a decision, right? It's just one of those fights where either way, like either guy can win. They're very close to a pick him. So honestly, I'm not going to give you the best prediction for that one just because I'm not that interested. And I will say, though, that the value is probably on the dog just because they have similar capabilities in many regards. But I think that Eric Anders packs more power. We just saw Brett Tavares getting knocked out 6 months ago. So maybe his chin is compromised. So I'm gonna pick him to get the job done. Yeah, give me Anders, but I'm not in any way, shape, or form for now looking to put any money on this one. Next fight, we got Charles Johnson and Bruno Silva. I'll tell you something. I like Charles Johnson. I know many people don't like him because he rants on Twitter and he's very vocal about his capabilities and very critical on what people has to say on him on Twitter. But I like him. He's engaging with everyone. This is a very winnable fight for him. He should have the way better striking on the feet, but I was surprised. Honestly, I was shocked on the way Alex Perez hurt him. Like, up to that moment, Charles Johnson seems invincible. Like, he was the guy that I was like, nah, he can't get knocked out, no fucking way. And he faced the most dangerous strikers in this division, guys like Ramazan Tamirov, Loner Kavanagh, which he knocked out, Sumadurgi, Joshua Van, which he knocked out. And then you go and you get knocked out by the guy that never knocks out anyone. That's very strange. So, unfortunately, I can't invest my money into Charles Johnson. Why? Because I think that Bruno Silva has more power than Alex Perez. I think that Bruno Silva, if he got knocked out, not knocked out, he got TKO'd, but he got a lot of damage during that minute where he just scrambled in that octagon. But I think that it's very early for him to come back. He only had 1 month and 2 weeks. He got to recover almost, so until the fight starts. So is that enough time to go and fight a guy again? A guy like Bruno Silva who has power, who has knockout capability? I don't know. That scares me because Charles Johnson can win the 3 rounds and then boom, he gets caught and maybe he's not well recovered and he gets knocked out. And this is something I can't invest in someone that is that compromised. So I will pick him to win though. I will pick him to win because he has all the tools to win. Like, he should keep the fight in his range. I hope you've learned from his mistake. And I don't see Bruno Silva taking him down. I don't see Charles Johnson trying to take Bruno Silva down, which is what scares me as well, right? Because if this fight stays on the feet, it gives Silva the option to get that knockout. So I will still stay with Charles Johnson. I picked him against Loner Kavanagh. I picked him against Sumadurgi. I picked him against Joshua Van. So, and actually I picked Alex Perez to win, but I thought he was gonna win by decision. I did pick him against Tamirov, and Tamirov won, but we know that Tamirov was using drugs. So that doesn't really count, right? But anyway, I'm picking Johnson to win. I think he's gonna be way more careful in this one. Now we got next fight. We got Petrino and Asplan. Watch some tape on Asplan. The guy is very impressive when it comes to his ability to strike, right? He's a good striker. He can strike for 3 rounds, good volume, can make you bleed if you stay and strike with him. But what we've seen is he's lacking on the jiu-jitsu side. In his fight against Denzel Freeman took him down at will until he choked him. And against this fight against Raiden Kovac took him down. Almost finished him in the first round. But he got gassed so bad that he couldn't really get that finish. Petrino, on the other hand, He will, if he wants to, he will take Asplund down. The question would be, would he do it first and foremost? And the second question would be, will he be able to finish him in the first or second round? Because Petrino is shown to be gassing, and you don't want to gas against a guy like Steven Asplund who got great gas tank in the third round. Even if you won the first two, he will just piece you up in the third and potentially knock you out. I will pick Petrino though. I think that he's getting that heavyweight body into fruition. He's weighing 250 215 libras in his last fight, which is crazy. There is some rumors going on that he hurt his hand. That is also a bit concerning. Will I bet on him? Probably not. Can he win? For sure. But there's also a question: how much has Steven worked on his takedown defense? How much did he work on his submission defense? Those are questions you have to ask yourself as well, because obviously he worked on that, because he knows that's something he lacks in. So I'm going to pick Vitor Petrino, but I'm not that confident. Next fight, we got Marwan Rahiki and Harry Hardwick. Listen, guys. This guy Marwan, he's a lion. He got the heart of a lion. Go and watch his Dana White Contender Series fight. That was a banger. I really enjoyed watching that fight. He got sparked. He got completely sparked by this Mulumba guy. I think he was lucky that this fight wasn't stopped, because I think 9 out of 10 referees would have stopped that fight after the first knockdown, even the second knockdown that he had in that fight. But for some reason, he didn't stop the fight, and then we really managed to see what Marwan is all about. He's a very, very dangerous, slick striker, and I don't see any path to victory for Harry Hardwick. What we did see from Harry Hardwick is that he's the opposite of Marwan. He got leg kick KO'd by Caio Fernandez, who has spectacular leg kicks, but the guy went out of the ring, out of the octagon with a wheelchair, So, again, no disrespect. The guy is a warrior. He steps into the cage and does what most people won't do. So, I respect him for that, but I think that Marwan would get a finish here. I think this is going to be a great matchup for him, because he's the way dangerous striker. I think the reach advantage here and the size, although they're about the same size, but he's very long and rangy. I think he's just going to piece up Hardwick. He might utilize the leg kicks just like Cowie did. Maybe play that part. But I like Marwan. Pretty confident he's gonna get the job done, and I'm excited to see what he comes up to in the UFC. Next fight, main card starts. We got Andre Fili and Delgado. I like Delgado here. I actually picked against him when he fought against Nathaniel Wood, and I was surprised Nathaniel Wood. I thought Nathaniel Wood won. I thought it was gonna be a split decision, but there were some moments in that fight that I was like, holy shit, man. This guy is fucking dangerous. And Wood has the chin to survive what Delgado did, but I don't think Fili will have that capability. I really don't. I think that Delgado will win here. Andre Fili is very dangerous, I'll say that. He had a good scrap against Nathaniel Wood himself, but I just think that the youth advantage, the speed advantage, the finishing upside for Delgado is just too much. I see him just touching Feely and maybe some similar outcome to what we saw when he fought Dan Ige, where he just completely collapsed him. Delgado has serious power. I know Ige hits hard, but Delgado not only hits hard, he's very accurate. He's like a sniper. So I'm very impressed by Delgado. I think he's gonna learn a lot from that loss he had against Wood. I think he's gonna improve his cardio, which I think was the reason why he lost. And I see him getting the job done. Very simple. I see him getting a finish. So yeah, that's for this one. Next fight, we got Umar Sy and Ion Cutelaba. Umar Sy, I think he has the grappling upside in this one. I wasn't impressed at all by his striking when they stand. I was impressed by his wrestling and his tenacity and his durability and the physical traits that he's bringing, his size for this weight class. And I think the size and the reach advantage and his physicality is what's going to win him this fight. Although Ion is very dangerous and can knock anybody in a good day, he lost a split decision to Bukauskas. He won against Ibo Aslan, but he just took him down, and Ibo Aslan has no ground game compared to him. He lost to Felipe Lins. I don't know, like he loses to guys that I see Umar winning against, right? Although we're not gonna play the MMA mat, but I think that Umar has that. If this fight stays on the feet, Ion will have the advantage, but just the reach advantage alone, he got like 8 inches of reach. That's significant. And he improves his striking all the time, so I see him just maybe piecing up Cutelaba and maybe getting the takedowns. And I need to do more tape study, but I'll pick Umar Sy to get the job done. Next fight, we got Amanda Lemos and Jillian Robertson. I'm going to have a contrarian take here. Lemos has been facing wrestlers all her career. Almost every fighter that fought her wanted to take her down because they were scared of her power on the feet, right? They were scared of her physicality. And if you go and watch her fights, you'll see that she faced many good wrestlers. Weili Zhang took her down many times and beat the shit out of her when she took her down. Mackenzie Dern, they had scraps back and forth, but she won against Mackenzie Dern, who's the current champion. Verna Jandirova took her down, managed to submit her. Jasmine Lucindo couldn't win against her. Tatiana Suarez won, but barely. Like Tatiana was like on the brink of getting knocked out in that third round. But even Tatiana Suarez, who's an Olympic champion wrestler, she had some difficulty taking Lemos. Like, it wasn't easy. And Lemos is always improving. She doesn't seem to slow down. I know Jillian Robertson has one game plan here, and that's taking Lemos down as fast as she can and getting some kind of submission or TKO. But I don't think it's gonna be that easy. I really don't think so. I think Lemos is physical enough to keep this fight standing, or at least keeping the fight on the feet long enough to potentially hurt Robertson. So I'm gonna pick the dog here. I'm gonna pick Amanda Lemos to get the job done. I know what Jillian Robertson is coming to do. She's probably gonna spam those takedowns. And I think that Lemos would be able to stuff those takedowns. And even if she gets taken down, getting back up or staying safe. So give me Limoges as the dog. Now the main event, we got the young up-and-comer Kevin Vallejos, and we got Josh Emmett. I have to pick Vallejos. I think that Emmett is... I don't think. Emmett is at the tail end of his career. Or even if he wants to say that he's going to keep fighting, at the end, results show. And I like respect for him to staying positive and all that about his trajectory, but what we've seen so far is that he's not the same. He's not the same guy he used to be. He has that power. We saw that in his fight against Bryce Mitchell, but when he fought Murphy, he couldn't handle him. When he fought Zalal completely dominated, took him down and immediately submitted him. I think Vallejos will be too much for him. I think he's gonna be able to get a finish, most likely a knockout, because that's what he likes to do. So I'll pick Vallejos to get the job done. I'll say he gets probably a second or third round TKO. Will I bet that prop? Maybe the knockout. I wouldn't pay not a round prop, but I just think Vallejos is on another level. He got the youth advantage, and this is something we have to take into account as sport bettors. We have to take into account the fact that this sport is not kind to older fighters who not only old, but fighters who took so much damage during their career. And Josh Emmett went 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria. That just tells you on how much damage he took. So I'll have to pick Vallejos here. Can this fight get to a decision? It can. It might. Like, Emmett is dangerous, but I think Vallejos is coming here to do something that is gonna leave a statement. I think he's gonna hunt for the finish. He just finished a guy that was never knocked out, Giga Chikadze, with a spinning back fist. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a finish here, even finishing a guy that Ilia couldn't manage to finish. So give me Vallejos to get the job done by knockout. That's it, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure you join my Telegram group. The link is in the description. I'm sharing free picks for every card, so make sure you join that. And if you have any additional info, if there's something you disagree with me, write it in the comment section. I would love to hear your opinion. That's it. Peace.